right, good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We are at the second day of the work weekend. Temperatures outside a little bit more mild and humid thanks to a changing weather flow. We have a southeast wind, and that's carrying in more cloud cover, more moisture, and that's also going to help produce a small chance for rain today. And we'll talk about that in detail. We'll show you the hour by hour, kind of the futurecast models on that. It's not an impressive chance for rain. We could use more, that's for certain, because of the drought. It's been worsening, and it's not getting any better. I mean, the last significant rain amount we've seen was probably in late August, early September. So it's been over a month since we've seen good beneficial rains in recent time. And since early September, it's been drying out. We've been seeing temperatures way above average and no big change in today's weather. There is a small outside chance a few of you see a brief downpour, and we'll talk about that in a second. But feel free to join the conversation. We'll be live here on KENS 5 for the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. Live shot over San Antonio right now, Morgan's Wonderland Camp, Calaveras Lake, the airport, all showing similar conditions. A lot of cloud cover out there right now. So some sunshine expected later this afternoon with highs in the lower 90s. Excuse me. All right, so when is our first cold front? I know we've been getting a lot of questions about this. Because, it's October. We're just weeks away from Halloween. And, if you remember in years past, Halloween, there have been some where trick-or-treating for a lot of the kiddos, it was chilly. A lot of kids had to dress in layers, and that happened a couple times in the last few years. Not every year, because some years Halloween is hot. But this is showing you the average first cold front. And, we have to show you detail, because when we talk about cold fronts, everyone perceives cold as differently. So these are showing you on the very left hand side, that's showing you the high temperature below a certain degree. So below 80, sub 70, below 60 for a high temperature, and below 50 for a high temperature. First column is showing what typically happens over years of data and just kind of averaging that out since like the 1900s. And then the second column shows you what happened last year when the high temperature got below that certain degree threshold. So for example, the average for a high temperature below 80 is mid to late September. We're past the average. It's just been way too warm because of high pressure in the local and regional weather pattern. Last year it happened on October 16th. So it just shows you what is average, what's normal, and then what happened last year. Below 70, October 19th is average. November 26th is what happened last year. So 2024 was a year of cold fronts happening way later than usual. And it looks like that's how it's going to play out this year. These fronts are going to be slow to move in. And it looks like a lot of the long-range models are suggesting sometime around October 20th for our first decent October cold front. We'll talk about that in a second. Normal this time of year is around 86 to 87. By a Halloween time frame, it's around 77. Mornings slip into the 50s by the end of this month, so that's good news there. If you look closely at the very bottom numbers, average rainfall 3.7, that can range definitely from year to year. Hottest temperature ever recorded in October history in San Antonio, 99 degrees back in 1991. Coldest was below freezing, 27 in October of 1993. So those two numbers show you what's possible, but the first two columns that are in blue show you what's probable. Temperatures usually in the 80s and 70s by the end of the month. All right, so right now we're at 81 at Timberwood Park. We're at 81 at Stinson, 78 at Bandera, 76 at Bulverde. 81's down I-35 towards Moore and Lytle, 81 at Castroville at this hour. Lots of 70s across the hill country, anywhere from 75 at Junction to 75 at Fredericksburg to about 78 in Kerrville. Pair of 84s in our southeastern counties over in George West and Beeville. 81 at Cotulla and 79 at Eagle Pass. You can see it's a little cooler out west just because of more cloud cover. It's a little bit more overcast in Maverick County and parts of, let's say, LaSalle and Frio County. Bexar County is kind of partly cloudy, mostly cloudy, but there are some breaks in the sky, especially on the northern side towards Fair Oaks Ranch, Timberwood Park, and near Bernie area. But yeah, mostly dry. Zooming out, very quiet, couple of coastal areas of light rain, nothing intense, but you look towards the Panhandle, looks a little different. Now, there is a front moving through the Panhandle just south of Amarillo, south of Lubbock, and that is drawing in some colder air. Matter of fact, here's the current surface map. If you have any friends or family in Lubbock or in Amarillo, it feels really nice out there this morning. I mean, Amarillo is picking up an air temperature of 52 plus rain, so it's actually a lot different in the Panhandle right now. 80 in DFW, 83 at Temple, and 81 here in San Antonio. So you can see the dividing line of colder air and just a different weather pattern out in the North Texas Panhandle area. Now, unfortunately, as this front moves farther south, it's going to weaken a lot. It's going to modify, and by the time it makes it anywhere near Austin or San Antonio, it loses its strength, and it doesn't really do much for our temperatures. If anything, it's just going to be a wind shift for San Antonio tomorrow. Instead of like a south and southeast wind, it'll be a north-northeast wind tomorrow and Thursday. That'll draw out the humidity a little bit. That'll be good news. So the mornings will feel a little bit better, but in terms of like, trending down our high temperatures, it's not going to be much of a relief. We'll be right around 91, 92 for the next 5 to 7 days, and this front is not going to do much for our temperatures. It's doing a lot for the panhandle temperatures, but as it makes it near San Antonio, it's really not going to do much for our local weather here in San Antonio and across the hill country. All right, so matter of fact, here it is on the forecast. Tomorrow's high, 91, same thing for today. There is a 10% chance we see an isolated rain shower, passing downpour later today. So just a heads up there. On your way back home from work, picking up the kids from school, you could pass into a light area of rain, but that's really it. Nothing organized or nothing severe is expected. Just pretty quiet. And if you're not seeing any rain, that 10% chance, you're seeing sunshine and highs. Very warm, 91 to 92 this time of year. Very hot. By Thursday, a little cooler, lows in the mid to upper 60s, highs near 90, but again, not much of a change in our weather pattern. There's that rain chance today. Let's rewind it back and show you what we have. Let's do this right here. So notice by about, I would say between 2 and about 6 p.m. is the best window for seeing some of those passing areas of light to moderate rain. And then same thing for Wednesday. I think a little less on the rain coverage for Wednesday, but between now and tomorrow, like 10 to 20% on that rain coverage. And more cloud cover, that helps things a little bit, but otherwise still pretty warm. High of 87 at Kerrville, 86 in Fredericksburg later today, 91 in the city, 93 at Seguin, and some 94s, 95s west and southwest of San Antonio. Excuse me. But notice, look at that, the upper level pattern. Excuse me. And by next week, with Sunday, Monday, you can see how things really don't change all that much. Over South Texas, Louisiana, and Mexico, it stays very, very quiet. Now, if you're wondering when's the first October cold front, not anytime soon, but some of the long-range models are suggesting anywhere from like the 19th to the 22nd for our first round locally of a nice burst of some cooler air. Karen, you're very welcome. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day as well. Good morning to you. What's in the air this morning? Let's take a look. So this was updated yesterday, but let's see what let me see. Give me 1 second, Karen. And guys, if you have any questions, comment down below, but that's the latest on a timing for our first October cold front. Sometime around October 19th and 20th is what the models are saying. All right, so let's see. Let's see. So this is actually yesterday's pollen count. It says mold and ragweed are light, and it's not too much different from today's pollen count. So we've got another update for your pollen count. Let's take a look. Oh, thank you, Greg. Appreciate it. Yeah, I was coughing earlier. Needed that. Thank you. All right, so there is. Excuse me. It could be the molds in the air, right? I mean, it could be the ragweed that's making me feel like this. But one allergen that has, added to the pollen count is ragweed, and then fall elm. So, and it looks like both, and actually all three are light. Let me just give me a second to update this. So mold is no longer at 230. It's up a little bit. It's light at 210. Ragweed, it is light at 90. All right, good. I'm doing this real time, so bear with me, guys. But yeah, everything is light on to this morning's pollen count. So ragweed is light at 90, good, and then fall elm is light at 40. Cool. So yeah, Karen, that is the latest pollen count. So we had an update from yesterday, and then that is this morning's newest update, most recent from our allergist. So yeah, molds, ragweed, fall elm are all light on this Tuesday morning. Okay, so temperatures out the door. Let's take a look and show you what we have. Let's see. All right, 81 in the city, 82 at Floresville, 78 at Kerrville, 75 at Fredericksburg. There's Radar and satellite, we talked about this earlier, a couple of showers offshore and then some more widespread rain in parts of the Panhandle. That's all courtesy of a front that will not really do much as it enters San Antonio. It is expected to move into our area like tomorrow afternoon, but if anything, again, it's just a wind shift. Instead of a southeast wind, we'll have a north-northeast wind, bringing down the humidity slightly. Today's high, 91, tomorrow 91 to 92, 90 on Thursday, northeast. It'll be a little breezy tomorrow on Wednesday, so that'll also elevate our fire threat, so avoid any outdoor burning. There's that rain chance today. It's very slim, few and far between, and very hit or miss areas of light to moderate rain. And then the rain chance does go through, Wednesday afternoon as well, but not too impressive. It's like 20% at best on our rain chance. Temperatures today, 81 in some spots farther north, 87 at Bernie, 87 at Rock Springs, 91 in the city. There's our weather flow, and we talked about this. Models are leaning towards the potential at a front sometime around October 20th and 21st. All right, so have a good morning to Mario. Good morning to James. How cold will it get? Now, it depends on what you feel and mean by cold. So it looks like right now the models are saying like lows in the 50s, highs in the lower 80s, upper 70s. Now, I know that's not extremely cold, but in October they're slow to move in and they don't pack a huge punch at first, but as long as we're getting front after front, eventually one by November and December will start to really bring down our temperatures. But it looks like, sometime between October 18th and 22nd will be our next first October cold front, and hopefully it'll bring down the temperatures a little bit more. But right now we're forecasting highs like in the 50s and then the lows in the 50s and highs in the upper 70s and lower 80s. So we're hoping for that to happen. All right, well, Eddie, I'll tell you what, Mother Nature is not easy to predict. It's hard to interpret what Mother Nature is going to do, especially in October. Sometimes cold fronts move in, sometimes they pack a punch, and sometimes they don't. But we're just hoping for some cooler air, that's for sure. Karen, a lot of mixture. A lot of different allergens in the air, and especially as we get into November and December, that's when we get more allergens as well. So don't like allergens, do not like them at all. Especially into like late fall, early winter, that's when it starts to really increase. We get mountain cedar coming in. We don't like to see that, that's for sure. So we're hoping for things to cool down sometime, but right now it's not until like the 19th and 20th temperatures start to trend down. In the meantime, it's on the warm side. Temperatures near 91, 90 for the next 4 to 5 days. And even through the weekend, pretty warm, right? Lows in the mid-60s, highs in the lower 90s, lower humidity, not bad at all though. And barely any rain. Today and tomorrow, next chance for showers, but it's only 10% today and tomorrow. And then by Thursday and Friday next week, we start to warm up even more. And then hopefully again, by the 19th and 20th, things start to improve with that first frontal boundary. Hopefully we get that in sometime soon. All right, guys, have a wonderful Tuesday. Make it a great day. We'll see you later, and we'll be live on KENS 5 News at noon in about an hour and a half. Have a wonderful Tuesday, and be safe out there.